So the used car price crash in February 2024, which is what I'm filming this in the UK. Now, I'm going to show you guys just through Auto Trader, just to show the levels of basically the price drops through cars throughout kind of like the UK and what's kind of gone on. And I'm going to use this an add-on extension, which I found out about recently, actually, called AT Price Tracker. And you can get it from essentially, you can add it as like an add-in, plug-in. And I'll leave that in the description if you guys want to check around and have a play, because I found it super fascinating. Now, I'm going to go through some of the cars that I talk about on the channel and I share on the channel and just give a bit of my advice around basically what the situation is. So let's start just straight away. So for me, when I look to get a car, I think of, well, first of all, what's it going to be enjoyable for me? And, you know, will it hold its money? That's basically the two things that I think of. We've got one here. Now this one, it just shows the price that it was advertised at. So 29,970 for this car. This is a track pack, 72 plate, one owner, 10,000 mile ST. Now, I enjoy this car, I really, really do. I think it's probably better suited for the track, but if you want something for the weekend, it's great. It's got huge stopping power on the brakes, amazing suspension. I think the facelift looks and everything about it is brilliant, and we can kind of take a closer look at it here. Again, it's all subjective. I've shared this on the channel a few times, and actually I'm hoping to have a setup with a Revo Stage 2 sort of Focus ST facelift as well. So cool car, you know, lightweight wheels, all this kind of stuff. So why am I kind of showing this then? And even though the Auto Trader price, or the AT price tracker, I should say, isn't really saying anything, 29,970. So you think, oh yeah. Well, unfortunately, this car list, as I'll show you here, if you want to order it today, all it's got is the mean green paint, which is £800, and the £3,000 track pack. As you can see, it's 41,450. Now, Ford always will do you a little bit of a deal because that's just what they do. And having spoken to people who own these from new, you can expect to get £3,000 or even £4,000 plus off your new price. And actually, I spoke to an owner who got 0% finance as well. So all positives on that front. But at the end of the day, this is what it's currently listed up to. And actually, it says, this is just from Auto Trader, it's £900 above market average. And yeah, it's only down as a fair price, so potentially a little bit expensive at 29,970. If you think about it, nearly well over £10,000 off what it would have cost new, that's a lot. And, you know, potentially a good time to get into one because it's a car that I really, really enjoy. Sadly, it's not good for people who've bought these new because, you know, you have lost money. That is just the sad kind of truth of it. But yeah, hopefully with the app and things like that, it's worth sort of playing around with. And literally, any cars that you like, you know, these are just some of the cars that I like. Have a little play and see what you think. Kind of rattle through as well, because a car that I like a lot is the Golf R. I like 2017, 2018 type cars because they're pre-OPF. I found this one from a dealership here, and it's down from 23,795 all the way down to 21,495. And you can see it's down by 10%. Now that's pretty good, 43,000 miles, it's 5-door DSG, full leather, and it's in like a special paint as well called white silver, which is quite rare. It doesn't look like it's been modified, it looks like it's pretty well standard and stock. I don't know the amount of owners, but I'd like to think it's only one, or certainly low numbers. And it's also a full VW service history, and I think that's pretty good going. And a good, you know, I'm actually looking at it, you know, if I was to part exchange my car, go from a manual to a DSG, this is a car I'd be thinking about getting into and sort of obviously splitting the difference between mine. Obviously on the offside, when you're trying to sell your car, part exchange your car is also going to have gone down in value, whatever it is. So it kind of evens itself out, but nonetheless, the difference, and obviously this car, you know, has come down in price, is obviously the positive. And we move on to other Golf Rs as well. I found this one from an approved used dealer, which is one owner, full service history. And it's come down from 22,790 in December down to 21,920. And from a main dealer, I'm not going to lie, I think that's really good. You know, you've got a bit of peace of mind. This will actually come with 2 years warranty. I'm pretty much selling it to you, and 2 years servicing as well. It's got the 19-inch Pretorias. It's got dynamic chassis control, I believe, as well, which is a super rare option, one to sort out, particularly when you're on 19-inch wheels. It's quite a cool red paint as well. I like that. It looks very well set. I've checked the wheels. Obviously, with the VW service history, you know it's been well looked after. It's one owner, so you kind of know what this person's all about. Yeah, obviously the facelift as well, Mark 7.5. It's got a spare wheel, and with the DCC, hey, I think it's a good car. It's also pre-OPF, and what I mean by that is in the exhaust, essentially they introduced the emissions past about 2018 time on cars, and you can see there it has comfort. It's got the DCC, dynamic chassis control, just to make things softer or make things firmer. In the UK, you'd rather have it softer, and there's a bit of the VW service history as well, which is very, very good, and that's from a main dealer as well. And you can see obviously the price tracker is saying it's coming down, and also trading as usual, good price. These are cars that I would generally trade mine in for to get. I just, I think it's a good time to get into them. Personally, that's just me, and I'm always a big fan of the Mark 7s and the Mark 7.5s. So that's positive, and it's something to kind of keep your eye out for. And I appreciate not everyone has £20,000+ to spend cash on a car, but for example, I have had my car for nearly 7 years, and actually I'm pretty happy with it. And if you're thinking things through for the long term, it's a good time to get in. Or if you're potentially thinking of, oh, you know what, I'll have some fun for 6 months, maybe it's a good time to get into one like this. I really do like this car, and genuinely, you never know what I might be thinking in the future. But we'll move on to the newer version. So obviously is the new Mark 8 Golf R, which I share on the channel, and I've driven on the channel, and all these kind of things. Now, I did a lot of videos on this car, and they were going for mega money, mega rovers. Some of these cars were like 60 grand. It was just crazy. It just had to change. It had to change. And as you can see, it has changed. I sort of said as soon as they start dipping into the high 20s, that's kind of the time to think about getting into one. And lo and behold, there's actually quite a few up for sub 20. I mean, look at the changes in prices on a lot of these. They're changing them regularly. This one's down to 28,989. This one's 29,000. This one's a big one, down from 32,987 down all the way to 29,787. So 10% off. And it's got the nice 19-inch wheels as well. And it's in arguably one of the best colours the Golf R, particularly it's distinctive, very cool, latest and greatest, brilliant car, absolutely love it. And you can see that you've just saved yourself quite a fair bit of money, and you've got to think how much more can these come down by. And it's not like these cars have been doing sort of mega miles. This is 27,000. It's not crazy numbers, and at that price is pretty good, considering if you looked probably in 2021 time, this car would have been above list, the original list price. So the world is changing, and it's possible to get into these kind of cars at this point. Again, it's subjective what kind of you like, but certainly I think any tools at your disposal to help you in these situations are great. The big things for me are the time and date when you buy a car. Buy in the winter or sell in the summer is generally the idea, and just how the world is going. When everyone's buying, it's not really the great time to buy. It's actually probably the best time to sell. But when everyone's selling, it's quite a good time to buy. But then that's obviously subjected to your situation. Your thoughts in the comments, because this is a community channel. Just what you think about kind of the price crash in the UK, just across the board. I've shown some examples of cars that I love. But yeah, give the price tracker a go and just see what you think. If you're looking for a car, it's quite cool to kind of check out. And yeah, I'll leave that in the description anyway. And yeah, thoughts well in the comments.